Hey gamers, denpa here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to emulate Dramatical Murder Recode for psvita on PC. As you may know, Dramatical Murder, also known as dmmd, is a 2012 sci-fi boys love visual novel that was originally marketed towards adults. Following its explosive popularity, an all-ages port of the game was released in 2014 exclusively for psvita. This is dmmd Recode, and we're going to learn how to emulate it in this video. Before we begin, I want to make it very clear that this game is in Japanese. There's currently no English patch, so you'll need to know Japanese in order to play. This tutorial is also for Windows. I'm not a Mac user and I never have been, so unfortunately I can't provide any tips for Mac users. Please watch this tutorial to the end so you can decide whether or not this process is worth it for you, because it might take an hour or two. Okay, so if you're part of this incredibly niche group of Japanese-speaking Windows-only Western Fujoshi, welcome, and let's get started. As you can see, I've made a new user profile on my PC. This isn't necessary, I just have a lot of clutter in my file explorer that I don't want to sift through during this tutorial. If you regularly play Japanese games, your system locale might be in Japanese. This will cause problems later, so let's go to the control panel, clock and region, administrative, and verify that your system locale is in English. If it's not, just switch it over and restart your computer. Next, we're going to go to vita3k.org. Vita3k is a psvita emulator for PC. This is what we're going to use to run Recode. Scroll down to pick your build and select Windows. After that downloads, navigate over to Quick Start and click this link to download Microsoft Visual C++. Go to File Explorer and run the executable. If it's already installed on your computer, you'll see the options Repair, Uninstall, and Close. In this case, I'm going to click Close. If C++ isn't already installed, just follow the prompts and install it. While you're in the File Explorer, extract the Windows latest zip file. I'm going to name this unzipped folder Vita3k just for simplicity's sake. Go back to the Vita3k Quick Start webpage and click the link titled PlayStation Website. This will download the psvita system software that we're going to need. If it doesn't download when you click the Download Update button, just right-click, select Copy Link Address, and paste it into the Chrome search bar. Chrome might block the download, but it's fine. Just click Keep. Now we're going to open up Vita3k. Select your language and click Next. The next prompt will ask you where you want your emulator path to be. Essentially, this is where all your files are going to go. Now, I have two drives on my computer, a C drive and a D drive. My C drive is full, so I'm going to store my game files on my D drive, which has enough space. This step is completely optional. Now that I've made an empty folder named Vita3k and put it on my D drive, I'm going to officially change my emulator path. To do this, I'm going to click Change Emulator Path, D drive, Users, denpa, Vita3k, and select Folder. Now that my files are nice and organized, I'm going to hit Next and come to this Download Firmware prompt. Since we downloaded the firmware earlier, I'm going to click Install Firmware File, find psvupdat.pup in the File Explorer, and click Open. I've sped up this clip, but it should take a minute or two to install. You should see this Firmware Successfully Installed message when it's done. When we hover over this Download Firmware Font Package button, we'll see a message that says, Firmware Font Package is needed for some applications and also for Asian regional font support. Basically, we gotta download some fonts so that in-game text displays correctly. So just go ahead and click the button and it should download from there. Once you've downloaded the psp2updat.pup file, click Install Firmware, select the file, and click Open. It'll probably take a minute or two. If everything is working correctly, you should get this setup completion message. From there, you just create a user profile and access the main screen. Now that our emulator is set up, we'll need to get dmmd Recode. If you're like me, I'm assuming you're broke, so we're going to search for No PlayStation Browser online. Follow this cfwaifu.com link, and from there we're going to click this No PlayStation link, click the Windows button, and it should begin downloading. Next, we're going to go back to that cfwaifu page and click the pkg2zip link, which will take us to a GitHub page. Select pkg2zip 64-bit and download it. Go to your File Explorer and extract the pkg2zip file. Click the folder once it's done just to make sure that the application is there. Now I'm going to go back to my Downloads folder, put nps browser on my desktop, and open it. You'll get a Microsoft prompt telling you not to install it, but it's fine, just install it anyways. A disclaimer will pop up, but this is normal. Just click OK and dismiss it. After that, this options window will open. Essentially, NoPlayStation is a free archive of PlayStation games and DLCs. The NoPlayStation browser plugs you directly into the archive, so you don't have to download games from sketchy sites with ads and other garbage. The archive is split into smaller databases based on the file format of the game, such as PSV, PSM, PSX, and so on. The URLs for these databases all follow the same structure: https://noplaystation.com/tsv/fileformat_games.tsv. So, in this section we have here, titled TSV files or URL links, we're going to copy-paste the same URL into all these boxes and change the URL's file format to match the file format listed on the left. The URL should look like this when you're done. You should have 5 URLs total for the PSV, PSM, PSX, PSP, and PS3 formats. I believe they're case sensitive, so be sure to capitalize and lowercase everything correctly. Now we're going to do the same thing for the DLCs section, except the word games in the URL will be replaced with DLCs. Next is the download and unpacked directory. Click Browse and select an existing folder. This folder is going to be where all of our NoPlayStation games will be downloaded. Me personally, I decided to make a new folder, and I noticed while editing that the NPS games folder I created saved under the name New Folder. I don't know why that happened, so be sure to go into your file explorer and ensure that the folder you just made is named correctly, because it can cause problems later if not. I think this next section is called PKG Decryption Tool, but I could just be talking out of my ass, I don't know. Click Browse and go to your downloads. Open the PKG2zip folder, select the application, and click Open. I'm assuming that this decrypts game files that are equipped with anti-piracy software, but again, I don't know anything about PlayStation emulation, so I could be wrong. Anyway, your option setup should look like this when you're done. Hit Sync Now and close this window once you're finished. The browser might open again, but if it doesn't, just open it. Don't freak out if it's slow to open and load. What you're seeing now is the NoPlayStation archive in all of its glory. I'm going to go up here and click File, Sync Cache, just to be safe. There's a search bar up here where I was going to type in Dramatical Murder, but it popped up before I could finish. There should just be one result available for recode, so just select it and click Download and Unpack. The status here should go from megabytes to packing, then completed. Next, we're going to zip the folder we just downloaded. Windows was giving me a hard time with this for some reason, so I just used 7-zip for this step and it worked just fine. 7-zip is a free tool you can download from 7zip.org if you don't already have it on your PC. The folder we're zipping should be called PCSG00420. If you're like me, you might feel inclined to rename your game folder to something more memorable, but don't do this because it'll fuck everything up. Alright, we are in the last lap, my friends. We're almost done. Navigate back to Vita 3K and click the screensaver to wake it up. Go to your file explorer and drag PCSG00420.zip into the Vita 3K emulator window, not the debug window, and the debug window should start chugging along after a minute or two. The last line of green text in the debug window should say Dramatical Murder Recode app installed successfully. Now I'm going to go into the Vita 3K home screen and launch the game. Oh dear. Yeah, so I'm assuming these red lines in the debug window means that something is broken, but I did play like 20 minutes or so into the common route, and this is my final ruling. Of course I'm biased because dmmd is my favorite franchise of all time, but the visual novel format is comprised mostly of text, music, and still images, so I don't really mind dealing with a bit of lag between CG and sprite transitions. I understand this might be disappointing to people looking for the ideal gaming experience, but considering this method cost $0 and gave me access to a visual novel that I probably wouldn't have been able to read otherwise, I'd say this is a success. The audio is clear and plays on time, the buttons and choices work, and the visuals are stunning as always. As far as tech support goes, I'm pretty inept, so I genuinely don't know what to tell you if you follow these instructions and can't get the game to work, but if anyone out there found this video helpful, then my work here is done. Thanks for watching and good luck.
Hi.